Hey guys, we are live all together talking about Jen's new book with Miss Maya, which by the way, I cannot get over this Maya Cam. This is literally making my whole day. For everybody that's joining us, my name's Ray. I'm here with Miss Jennifer Appel, author herself, and your beautiful puppy Maya. And Bree, I am so thrilled that you are joining us for today's live video.
Hi, I'm so glad to be here.
Oh my God, it's so fun. I know we have a lot we're going to touch on because holy cow, with your book, it's coming out on Thursday. So I feel like we're getting closer and closer, inching our way to this big launch day. Before we get into all that, Bree, will you tell us a little about yourself? And then Jen, will you tell us a little about yourself and about the book if somebody was just joining us for the first time?
Yes, so I'm Brianne Fennell. I am a first and second grade looping teacher in Ohio, and I myself am an author of Play Yay and soon to becoming Play Yay Baby Talk. And I got a chance to be a Teach Better ambassador, and so I am loving this new role where I get to work with the team even closer. And I had the ability to get a sneak peek at Maya's new book, and Jennifer did a fabulous job. And once I read it, I mean, the ideas started flowing. So I can't wait to be able to discuss that with you guys today.
And when is your book coming out, Bree? When is
the
your book
22nd of this month.
I knew it was coming soon. That's exciting.
I'm really excited.
That's really cool. That's exciting. Yeah, so I'm Jennifer Appel. I'm the Chief Heart Officer for the Teach Better team. And then, yes, and Maya's mom. That's kind of the most important role I have, I guess, right now. Yeah. And then I've been in education for 21 years, mostly in middle school, but I've also done second grade and kindergarten and fifth grade. So I've done some of the younger grades as well. And Award-Winning Dog is a picture book centered for really like K2. But Caitlin and I talked about yesterday, you really could use it at middle school too. We found all these ways we could use it in middle school. And it's just basically a book of self-discovery and figuring out who you are and then being happy with that in result of who you are as a person. And just understanding that character is really the most important thing, not just being the most athletic or the prettiest or whatever else. It's really about being who you are and helping others. So,
my goodness. And I think the most comments we've gotten so far is just how adorable Maya is sleeping. I love that the author herself can join our live videos because even though she's napping, we can still see how, amazing she is.
Yeah. She's like, I'm just going to take a nap here while you guys talk. It'll be fine.
Yeah. I love this. Everybody is jumping in saying hi. I know that everyone's so excited, Jen, for them to get the book. I know usually we save this for the end, but will you tell us really quick before we get into all the amazing things? I know Bree has a lot to share on this. Will you tell us a little bit about where we can get the book? Because it's coming out on Thursday.
On Thursday. Yeah, it's Wednesday, isn't it? Yeah, it's kind of crazy. So yeah, it's coming out tomorrow. Yeah, so you can get it. Our website is probably the best place to go, awardwinningculture.com. And if you order from there, you'll get little stickers. There's a bookmark that you'll get, some little pencils, some little fun stuff. And then Maya will even sign it for you. So you can get an autographed copy if you go to our website. And then the other place you can get it is on Amazon. So it's also available on Amazon. You just only get the book. So, and it's the same price. So you might as well get on our site because then you get all the fun stuff that comes with it.
Absolutely. And I know this is Hans asking this, but I know all of you listening or watching are thinking the same thing. Is that a real dog or a stuffed animal? If you watch close enough, she'll move every so often. So I think it kind of helps figure out.
Oh, there we go. She just moved. Sorry, I touched her and so then she moved.
Oh man, Maya, she'll come back. She'll come back.
She's coming back. There she is. So see, she's coming back in the picture.
So fun.
See, she moved. So then we all know she's alive. She's really there.
There we go. The real author herself. Just annoyed right now. She's napping.
Yeah.
Max came over, my little boy, and he was like trying to pet her on the screen. Yeah. So that's why I lifted him up. It's like, look, there's the dog on there.
He's like, there's a puppy I can actually pet.
Oh, yeah, and he's like, no.
Well, isn't that the fun part of the book? I know we touched on it on Monday, but one of the best parts I really love about the book is not only learning these amazing, elements that you've embedded in the story, but connecting with the author. The puppy it's a real dog. You can follow her on Instagram and follow her story, and I think that's so great. I know, Bree, you had some lesson plans that you were drafting up that involved, bringing a stuffed animal dog into the classroom and things like that. Will you tell us a little bit?
Sure. So like I said, I got a chance to read this book, and I was so excited because I'm reading Han's book right now, and I was like, oh, what a perfect way to tie this into my elementary classroom. So many great ideas, and already things that we have been talking about in our school about like character education and really being inclusive to others. And so my brain started going, and I was like, oh, how could I use this in my own classroom? And the activity I came up with first was a book, because I'm an author and we love writing class books in first and second grade. So my son, Lucas, helped me with this. So he drew the little dog on the front. And so the class book would be called Maya's Messages. And then my thought is that the kids would then relate to the different traits. So like a time where they showed kindness, or they experienced service in their community, or empathy. And so let's see, Lucas did this. So he shows kindness when he helps someone out. So he drew this little picture. So I'm so lucky to have Lucas in my life, because he helps me with all the ideas I come up with. I'm like, okay, would this work with a second grader? And it does. And so he did a great job making something for me. But my idea would be that your whole class could do this, and it could be like a collaboration. You could do it with a sister classroom because we do, like, our second graders are paired with kindergartners, and our first graders are paired with third graders, so that they could really interact and kind of show how these ideas could go across your building. And you could just build on it even all year. So that was my first idea that I had.
I love that. And I think it goes with too, Brie, one of the lessons I wrote that people can actually like download for free is that the three, if you remember, Brie, in the book, there's like 3 pictures where Maya's like showing kindness to people. Yeah. And so I made that into where they actually write a sentence of what is Maya doing? And then they write their own sentence of like showing kindness. So then you could use that as like the rough draft. So they could do that first, and then they could publish it into their book you have. That'd be perfect.
That would be great collaboration.
Yeah.
I like that. So I made this little chart that just says, what will you do for others today? And this was a quote right from the book. So I thought that the kids could either have little dogs that they created themselves, or have like little medals, like in the book, where they could put like an idea for the day. Like, I'm going to help my friend pack up at the end of the day, or I'm going to wait in line patiently, or maybe now I'm going to keep my 6 feet from my friend. And so I think that you could use that in any classroom setting, all the way up middle school, high school, because doing things for others is, something that, that's universal. You can put it in your teacher's lounge.
I think it would be cute to have little cut out bones, like a little bone, and then they would write that on there, and then you could have those in a little dish or something, and they could put all their little bones for like the day. Wouldn't that be adorable? It would be so cute. That's my second grade teacher coming out there.
Absolutely.
That'd be so cute. Yeah.
Tons. I would love a virtual appearance from Maya in my class. That would be fantastic.
Maya would love, she's available for virtual appearances. We can read the book to the class. We can do whatever. So yeah, that would be fun. They could even ask questions of Maya. That might be kind of fun. That would be really cool.
You guys should definitely hop on their website and make sure that you get signed up to do some virtual visits with them, because just having the dog, they will have a million questions about the dog. And then they'll be like, oh yeah, my teacher told me to ask the author some questions. And they'll have questions about like how you wrote the book and who was the illustrator. I love having virtual author visits in our classroom.
Yeah. Oh, I think that would be so fun. And they would be so enthralled with Maya because, you know, she's Maya. She's adorable. I could wake her up from her nap so she's not quite so peaceful there. Have her a little more interactive.
She looks so cute.
I think a virtual session with the author is great for any time students are reading a book, and the fact that it's a dog just makes it a million times better.
It does. They would be so happy.
Well, and I think Kayla and I were talking about yesterday that sometimes it's easier, like for the kids to relate to a dog. I think Ray, you and I were talking about this on Monday too, that like sometimes it's easier when it's not like a certain gender, it's not a certain race. It's not like, oh, well, that wouldn't happen to me because it's, you know, that kid doesn't look like me or whatever it is. When it's a dog, it's a little more neutral, you know, and a lot of people can relate to it. And so I think that, you know, it just makes it easier for kids to talk about it when it's like, oh, we're talking about Maya and we're talking about this dog. And so then they can relate it back. At least that's what I found is it's like easier to talk about through like an animal's point of view, that kind of thing.
Completely. Yeah. And that's what we did talk about that Monday. I think Dave's comment goes to it perfectly, is like, I'm enthralled with Maya and I'm not 7. So I know that the students are going to love it, but even in the older grades, as we talk about using this, you know, in all grade levels, there's so many things you can do with the children's book. People just love when they can like see characters in real life. And that's the same I always say about following Maya's Instagram stories. I love that characters in the book, you know, you can see in real life, and there's so many different connections, and those conversations are so important to have, and so I think really easy to start with when you're talking about a dog versus a person.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I totally agree with that.
So what are some of the elements in this book that you think are important to introduce to our students, but is easier through a dog's point of view? I know this came up on Monday. Bria, I'm interested in hearing your thoughts on that as well. Like this children's book, I know this is one of many that Maya will be doing. There's a lot of like very challenging topics that are either directly addressed or are kind of in the background of this story that could easily be something that you bring up in the classroom. Is there any specifically that we can highlight?
Yes, also, I think that the idea of excellence, because we have character, excellence, and community. And what is excellence? What's excellence to one person may not be to another person. And so I think something that the book really kind of drew out was that comparison piece. And I know, like, as teachers, as authors, like, we do this to ourselves all the time, is we compare ourselves to others around us. And what was so nice about Maya's friends in the book is they were able to see parts in herself that she wasn't able to see right away. And so I love it so much. And, you know, it's kind of like the Teach Better team for me. Like, there are just people who are like, you're doing this and that's so excellent. And it's something that maybe I kind of pick apart about myself. And so that was a comparison that text, the self-connection I was able to make.
Yeah. And I think that's what I was trying to get across is, you know, basically all of these things, she's not, you know, she's not the most athletic. She's not the prettiest. She isn't the most extroverted. And so those are the things we tend to recognize. You know, when we are recognizing things, we give honor roll certificates, we give certificates for good grades, we give, you know, these are the things we give certificates for. Oh, you got a medal because you won the championship, you know, things like that. But I think we really need the lesson that I think even for adults from this book, I hope that people get is we need to recognize students for being good people, for having high character, for having excellence, for having community, like serving others. So figuring out those things to recognize each of us differently, because it's not going to be the same for every kid. Maybe you are the most athletic, then awesome. Like we should recognize you for that skill. But if you're not, what is it that you're really good at? Because everybody has something they're really skilled at. And so we need to find that in each of our students and really point out that it's okay that you're like an amazing artist. You're an amazing, whatever it is. And so helping kids understand, like, you can do all these great things, but it doesn't have to be the same as everyone else.
Absolutely.
Yeah. One of the other lessons that I came up with had to do with Flipgrid, so tying in that technology, but it was lights, camera, action, and the kids actually take the Flipgrid and they record their own review for the book, and then make either a text-to-text, text-to-self, or text-to-world connection. And then that way they can reflect and dive deep into the text, just like we're doing here today.
I love that. I think that's such a great idea. And those connections, making connections is like the very first, as a reading specialist, like that's the very first thing I teach kids, when I'm teaching them reading skills, that's like number one on the list, is making those connections, because our comprehension goes up, our fluency goes up, like everything goes up in our reading skills if we can make those connections. So having that text to self, text to text, and a lot of these kids, a lot of people in America have dogs. So that's going to be, that text to self connection too, of just, I have a dog too, and we do this, and we can see these things in each other. So I think that would be really awesome, is making those connections with that. Absolutely.
Yeah. And we always do read alouds at our carpet time, and that might look a little different this year, but we always do text to self, and then we do connection on the top of our head. And so whether it's text the world or text to text, and it's so fun, like, by the time they're with me for 2 years, they're like, oh, we did this. And so it's just like a movement that kind of helps them remember that we're always making those connections.
Yeah, that's huge. And especially in those primary grades, to get them to understand that. I know in middle school, even too, I talk to my kids about it all the time, and they're like, oh yeah, I guess I do. They've forgotten those skills because we don't have the cute little, texts that, like, we stopped doing that once they get to like 6th and 7th grade. And so it's like, no, you are making connections all the time. They're just unaware of them. And so to point those out, and that's why I love using children's literature as a 6th grade ELA teacher, because it's an easy way to show them the skill of like, here's what we're doing, and then we can apply it to a novel or a larger book. But yeah, absolutely. I think that's perfect.
I think that sometimes as kids get older, we think, oh, they wouldn't like that. That's too babyish, whether it's stickers or children's books or, I don't know about you, but a good sticker goes a long way with me.
Yeah. Oh, I still love stickers. I still have to color too. I put coloring sheets out there. That's what some of the activity sheets, because I'm like, I want to color Maya.
But the same with like the chants and the songs and the movements. Like, yes, there's a time and place. Yes, you have to make it purposeful. But being goofy and having those like rhythm and rhymes to remember content is good at any age. And really, it's just the teacher getting over, like, am I going to be silly in front of these students? Because once the teacher buys in, if you can really buy in, we have some crazy stuff, even that we do in the middle school level, that's perfect. And it's the same with children's books. People are like, oh, you can't do children's books in middle school. I'm like, you bring a children's book out in my 6th grade math classroom, and every kid's like, ooh, what are we doing with the children's book? Like, they're all excited. It was so fun.
Oh, my kids, because I had flexible seating, they would all come, like, can we sit on the carpet too? And I'm like, yes, you're like, and I taught 8th graders, and they're like, is it okay if we sit on the carpet? I'm like, yes, 8th grade, like 6-foot boys, like, yes, you can sit on the carpet. Like, it's okay. And they would come up and they're like, will you do the voices? Are you sure? Please do the voices. I'm like, okay, I will do the voices for you. They love it. It doesn't matter how old you are. You love to be read to.
Okay, Bree, can I put you on the spot? Did you have a favorite character outside of Maya in the story?
It's a hard question.
It is a hard question because Maya is like the central point, but I think that I really resonated with the rabbit in the story.
I was gonna say.
Was it? Did you think that about me?
That's what I was gonna say too. I'm like, and then the rabbit shows up in our Instagram stories. I feel like the rabbit, no, we're friends now.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, the rabbit, the duck, and the squirrel, like, we go for where we walk. There's like a lot of water because we live on a golf course. And so there's like a lot of like, there's a duck pond, and then there's like other water everywhere. There's like ponds and things. So we do see like ducks, rabbits, and squirrels like every day. This morning on the walk, I told Hans, I said, oh my gosh, Maya's having a conversation with the squirrel. I think I knew squirrels make noise, but I don't really hear squirrels often. They do. And it was like, it was talking. Like, the squirrel was like totally talking. He was on the fence. It jumped over to the tree to get closer to Maya. And Maya's looking up at it, and they're having a whole conversation. Like, I don't know what they were talking about this morning, but I was like, she really does have conversations with other animals. It was hilarious.
Yeah, it's fun. I love that we're talking about a children's book right now, because I think there's so much stress in the world, and there's so many things that, all these unknowns. The reality is that regardless of if we go back to classroom immediately or not, Animals are great to incorporate. Children's book, great to incorporate. This is a great opportunity to get students talking. There's so many characters in this book that you can connect with outside of the book. You can continue to foster those connections. I just think this is such a timely story. I'm so glad that it's coming out now because I feel like I need it, and I'm sure that other people feel the same way.
Yeah, thank you. I think it's, I tried to take the concepts of Hans's book and like think of it through like a children's book perspective and Maya's perspective. Honestly, I mean, it's based a lot on her real life. I mean, she was rejected by she was our home was like her third home, and she had been tossed kind of back and forth between a couple homes. And so she kind of went through that struggle. She has, severe separation anxiety because of being left a few different times, hence why she likes to lay right next to me all the time. But she kind of went through some of those things in reality. And so I think that it helps root it in really true things that are happening. So,
Bree, what's your puppy's name?
This is Barkley, and Barkley is wanting my attention, so he keeps putting his nose right up, and he's like, "Okay, I need you to keep petting me. You are talking to another dog, and that is not okay with me."
He wants to be friends with Maya. She has so many friends now to put in other books. We've got 4 more books coming. She's gonna have to have some guest stars here, I think.
Absolutely. So this is Barkley, and Barkley takes medicine for seizures. But he is the sweetest, most loving dog. He needs lots of love and attention all the time.
I do love when you post pictures of him on Instagram and Twitter. I'm always like, oh, so cute.
He is so cute. Yeah, he's adorable.
Yeah, I feel different for you, Jen. Like as you work with Maya on future books, you're going to have a lot of competition of who makes an appearance between all the dogs and other animals in your life. We have a lot of cats on the Teach Better team that have already tried to get their spot in your next books. I mean, this is going to be, is there going to be like a resume that we all need to fill out? Or
I think we're going to have some sort of competition. There'll have to be some videos involved of your animal, what they do. So then we'll have to be able to choose, Maya will have to pick who she wants. The problem is she's already got some friends that are mad at her that they weren't in the first book.
Right.
So, she's got some people she's already got to, please that are in the neighborhood that she sees all the time. So
I just want the world to know that Harvey and Alfred really want to make an appearance. Alfred is across the room right now with everything. His shoulders up is off the couch, and his body is left on the couch, and his hands are above his ears. So he looks ridiculous. I think that he can be the goofy friend. He's the awkward friend in the corner, I feel like.
Right. That would be good. Yeah, that would be the friend that she comes to play with. It's kind
of nutty, and you're
kind of silly. Yeah.
Barkley is the needy friend. He needs a lot of attention.
There we go.
That's good. Yeah. See, you have all these different personalities you can put in there. Yeah. There's so many options I have.
Hey, Jen, will you make sure, we didn't touch on it yet, you're doing a massive book giveaway, and I want to make sure that the entire world knows about it because I've been seeing it all over Twitter. I want to keep making sure that if you are interested in winning a free copy of the book, you have your chance. And so will you give us all the details for that?
Yeah. So I'm going to read it off here so I say it right. Why do we need kindness in our world is the question to answer. So answer that question online. I've already gotten quite a few people entering. So I'm pretty excited. I only have 5 books to give away. So put that out on social media, #TeachBetter, #award-winning culture. And then tomorrow, when we're all live together again, then I'll announce the winners and send their books hopefully this weekend. So it'll be fun. So tell us, why do we need kindness in this world?
Bree, are you going to try and win a book? I feel like I need to start crafting my answer. I haven't quite tweeted about this yet, but I feel like I need to start crafting my answer.
I have already tweeted.
She entered. She's already entered in the competition.
Will you share your answer? I won't steal it.
It's because we need kindness in the world because we need friends and we need smiles. And I posted a picture from Teach Better 19.
Yeah, it was really cute. It was a picture. It was you, Tiffany, and was it Kevin?
Kevin Butler.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, the 3 of them. So cute. Yeah.
So fun. So everyone needs to try and share out why they feel like they need kindness in the world and using those 2 hashtags. and you had to do it before tomorrow.
Yeah.
Is it going to be like before tomorrow, before we go live? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah. So we go live at 1. So as long as you give me enough time before 1 o'clock Eastern, or no, 1 o'clock Pacific, 4 o'clock Eastern. What are you guys in between? 3 o'clock?
Central.
Will be you. Yeah, Central.
Central.
Too many time zones to keep track of.
It's true. I never really paid much attention to time zones until getting involved with Teach Better and trying to catch the lives. And I'm like, well, no, mostly it's Ohio that we get our time zone.
Well, you guys are East. Are you Eastern, Bree?
I'm Eastern, yeah.
Yeah. See, we're Pacific, which is like the complete opposite coast. And so it's like, I always have to think, I'm like, okay, are you 2 or are you 3? Like,
well, and you're playing it because sometimes we post only Eastern time. Sometimes we post Eastern and Central because if I'm posting it, guys, I always put Central in there because I can't. And then Pacific, I'm always like, I think you're 2 behind me, 3 behind Eastern.
Yeah. And I always think in terms of Pacific and Eastern because they're opposite each other. And so I kind of like forget the 2 in between because I'm like, well, it's like one or the end or the other. This is like the most you'll have. This is the least you'll have.
I do have to say, I touched on that yesterday. We were talking about like Calendly links. Now we're really off topic.
Yeah.
But Calendly is really nice because when you're scheduling a meeting with someone and they open that link, it opens it in their own time zone.
Yeah, it does. I know. I like that.
So they don't make a mistake like, oh, I can talk to you at 2 Eastern, but in their mind, it's a different.
They're thinking it's,
So anything to help with time zones is a helper.
I know.
So
It's our math connection for today.
There we go.
Social studies, math.
For everybody that is with us, I hope that you choose to try and enter to win a free book. And then we'll be live tomorrow at 1 o'clock Pacific, 4 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Central to make the announcement on the winners and celebrate the book birthday of Maya's first book. Jen, your first children's book. It's so exciting.
Oh, I'm really excited. Yeah, I'm excited for everybody to see it. I hope that I was honored when Bree started writing lesson plans. I was like, oh my gosh, someone's actually reading this book and wanting to use it in their class. It's just like, it's so cool. I hope that people enjoy it and love it and use it with their kids because that's what it's there for, is to be able to use in your classroom. So I'm just honored that people even want to read it and that they want to use it with their kids. So I think it's pretty cool.
So fun. Well, make sure to head over to awardwinningculture.com and get a copy there because then you get stickers and a signed copy by Maya, which, trust me, is totally worth it. So make
there she is. She came back in for her goodbye appearance. There we go.
Yeah, so fun. All right, Bree, thanks for joining us as well. Jen, we're so excited for you. Maya, you're still the cutest puppy. Shh, don't tell. The cutest puppy ever.
Girl, remember, she's the cutest girl Sheltie puppy because then your boys are so great.
There we go.
There you go.
Perfect. All right, we'll see you guys later. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.